Testing, testing. Hello. Hello, everybody. My name is Professor Rich, and today we are talking about errors that people make when speaking English in the context of English food. The context is not so important. We are focusing today on common errors that learners make when speaking English. That is the focus of our lesson today. But it is important whenever you look at language, it's important to give it a context, because language without context has no meaning, and it's much harder to remember anything if it's out of context. So I hope that no one is feeling hungry like I am. I'm feeling hungry. I'm hungry right now. I'm really hungry, and we're going to talk about food, so that sucks. But anyway, hello, Manuel Gordillo. Hello, Anawat. How's it going? It's going good, sir. Thank you. Julia, hello. How are you doing there in Myanmar? You know, I always thought, because you put your name as Julia, I always thought you were European for some reason. But yes, we have the Myanmar Julia. We've got Asmina Nasri. Hello, where are you from, Asmina? English for today. Hello. Domenico Fauci. Hello. Romelia. Hello. Sonia Buzzarini. That sounds Italiani. How are you doing there, Sonia? Kashata. Hello again. And Maria del Carmen. Good to see you. I don't think we've seen you for a few classes. So we are talking about errors today, errors that people make when speaking English and when writing English. But first, let's set a context. At the start of a communicative language class, which is my style of teaching, often the teacher will ask the learners to do an activity which gets you thinking about the themes and context of the class. And teachers call this activating schematic knowledge. It's also called a warmer. And this is our warmer for today. So we have here 7 lovely classic English dishes. And I want to know who are the culinary versed people in the chat. Who in our chat today knows the names of these classic English dishes? If you are watching the stream, please do interact with our chat. We have a lovely community, and on desktop or laptop, you can talk to them right over there. And if you are on a mobile device, you can find the chat below the video. So type your answers now in the chat. What do you think? Do you know the names of these traditional English foods? You'll notice at the start of the class, I did mention British foods. That's not really correct. Honestly, we're looking at English foods here. I used to do a lot of stuff about British this and British that, and I've decided it's basically English, actually, what I'm talking about, because it's very rare that I mention anything about Wales or Scotland or Northern Ireland. So why pretend that I'm doing British stuff? It's English, isn't it? I'm doing English stuff. So let's have a look here at this English food. Obviously, if we had British food, we could include haggis, and we could include Welsh rarebit. Welsh rarebit is a fancy name for cheese on toast. Let's see what we've got in the chat then. So Romelia's got the English breakfast, fish and chips. Romelia says number 4, Sunday roast. That's not right, Romelia. Number 4 is not that. Nipa Begum says 4 is pie. It's not. And 6, Julia, is not tomato soup. Pure Care says, I feel hungry now. I know, and this is always the problem with doing classes about food. that you will get hungry. To be honest with you, I am also very hungry. I haven't eaten today. For those of you who know, I do actually practice intermittent fasting at the moment. I have been doing that for about 3 weeks, and I have a feeding window of just 5 hours, normally from about 5 o'clock until about 10 o'clock. But today, probably I'm going to start a bit earlier because I'm hungry and I have an appointment at the doctor's in the evening. It's really annoying. So Sonia, of course, got the fish and chips, number 5. Manuel has said that 4 is chocolate cake. Are you wearing your glasses there, Manuel? Pavia has said 3 is peri-peri chicken, which is nowhere near correct. Peri-peri chicken is a Portuguese dish. This is English food, and it looks nothing like that. But okay. What I find, by the way, of course, young people don't know quite so much about international cuisine, but the older you get, the more of these dishes you try. Manuel, it does look like pouring chocolate. However, there's a very famous savory sauce that English people love. Do you know the name of this savory sauce? It's a sauce that we put on meat. In Spanish, you'd probably just call it salsa de carne. Oye, pues, ¿has probado el salsa de carne de lo inglés? That's right, Romelia. It is gravy. The sauce is gravy. Now the question is, what's the dish? Do you know that dish? Oh, nice one, Pilly C. Where are you from, Pilly? You are correct. Number 1 is shepherd's pie. Does anybody know the difference between shepherd's pie and cottage pie? You have 30 seconds. What's the difference? Shepherd's pie and cottage pie. 10 seconds. So, okay, that wasn't really 30 seconds. Shepherd's pie is sheep, so it's mutton, and cottage pie is beef. That's right, Sonia. It's different meat. Very good. Shepherd's pie and cottage pie. All right, let's have a look at some answers. Number 1, shepherd's pie. Number 2 is an English breakfast, also called a full English, and it is essentially the same as the Scottish breakfast and Irish breakfast. So really, we should call it kind of the Celtic breakfast or the Britain breakfast. But okay, it's English breakfast. Then moving on to number 3. I don't think anyone got this. Number 3, it is a pie. It's a special pie. It's called steak and kidney pie. Steak and kidney pie. So that means it's beef, meat, and kidney, the organ. So beef organ. So it's organ meat mixed with flesh meat and with a gravy type sauce. Steak and kidney pie. Steak and kidney pie. Then number 4. Did anyone get number 4? It's a very special dish. Children love number 4. It is essentially a combination of sausages and Yorkshire pudding, and we call this dish toad in the hole. Toad in the hole. So this is toad in the hole. And toad in the hole is often accompanied with gravy, or sometimes children like it with baked beans. So that's toad in the hole. Number 5, we've got fish and chips. How about chips and fish? Why don't we say chips and fish? Why don't we say chips and fish? Why fish and chips? The reason is it's a collocation. It's like black and white. You don't say white and black. You say black and white, salt and vinegar, fish and chips. Vinegar and salt? No. White and black? No. Chips and fish? No. Black and white, fish and chips, salt and vinegar. They are collocations. Then we move on to number 6. It's beef stew. So stew is kind of an English casserole, basically, or English hot pot. That's a stew. And often you cook a stew for quite a long time, 1 hour, 2 hours, even more. And you put in vegetables and all kinds of flavors. It's a very strong, flavoursome food. It's good in the winter. That's a beef stew. Number 7 is the Cornish pasty. Cornish pasty. And here you have the written forms of those words, if anyone's interested there. Does anyone have any comments or questions about this traditional English food? What about boiling fish and potatoes with green or red sauce? That's not really our style, Manuel. But I believe is that a Tenerife dish? I think I've had that. Actually, these foods are kind of idiosyncratic for their wonderful tastes. You're being too clever for me, Pavia. What do you mean? 7 looks like empanadas. That's right, Pilly. Pasty is the English word for empanada. But the Cornish pasty has existed for 500 or more years. So actually, I'm not sure how long. I think that's before Latin America even existed. So yeah, we invented the pasty. I don't know how it became a Venezuelan dish or Argentinian dish, but hey. I had a lovely Venezuelan food from one of my students about a month ago. He made a Venezuelan food. It was pastelito. Oh, yes. Lovely. He made it at home, had some mince in there. Really nice. Kind of Venezuelan pasty type thing. Pavia did not know steak and kidney pie or beef stew. Really, stew? Stew's a common one. There's lots of different types of stew. How about Yorkshire puddings, Anawat says. That's right. So Yorkshire pudding is essentially one of the components of Toad in the Hole. With Toad in the Hole, basically the pie is a giant Yorkshire pudding, and then the toad is actually sausages. Like I say, children love it. It's a dirty dish, but children love it. Greasy, dirty, fatty, but it fills you up. It's nice and tasty. Okay, so I'm going to show you 5 opinions about English food. These are 5 opinions from students about English food. But they have 2 errors, I think 2 errors in every one. So each sentence has 2 mistakes. So look at the opinions. Do you agree or disagree? And can you spot the mistake? So here you go. Here are 5 opinions about English food. And remember, each opinion has 2 mistakes. Can you spot the mistakes? Common mistakes. Yorkshire pudding goes well with a Sunday roast. Yeah, that's right. Yorkshire pudding is a standard part of a Sunday roast in the northeast. So I will just give you about 3 or 4 minutes to take a look at those and provide your answers in the chat. We already have some answers from Sonia, Julia, and Pavia. Romelia says, I've eaten a delicious Sunday roast in Cambridge. The best, yeah, that I imagine in Cambridge the Sunday roast is very good. The best place to get a Sunday roast is in a English country pub, what we call a carvery or a gastro pub. Welcome to everyone watching today. Do interact in the chat. Say hello if you haven't said hello before. The chat is there on the left. Domenico Lavalci says, as my body weight currently ranges between 62.5 and 63 kilos, that's a pretty small variation, indicating a recent loss of 2.5 kilos over the past 2 weeks. Wow. My body weight ranges between 95 and 97 kilos. We are quite different weights, Domenico. Manuel, that is a possibility. You can say people have no respect. However, I want to correct this in a different way. So keep the negation. How can we fix it and keep the negation? And Vladimir has joined us, also saying have no respect. Could you try to fix that number 2, but by adding an auxiliary verb? Auxiliary verbs such as be, do, or have. What do you think? And actually, I can provide you some help here. I'm going to underline the errors. So now you can see where the errors are. This should help you to fix the mistakes. Bonus question. What's the difference between an error and a mistake in English? Oh, Domenico's boasting about his 6-pack. Well done. I had a 6-pack 15 years ago, and I can confirm it is an achievement. And very difficult. So there's no comments about what the difference between errors and mistakes are. So here I'll give you this. Now, often people use the words interchangeably. So they are often used in the same way by a lot of people, but really there is a difference. And the difference is an error indicates that you don't understand something correctly. Whereas a mistake, or sometimes called a slip, is just when you know the correct answer, but you said it wrong because you went too fast or you felt stressed or pressured. So a mistake is not a big problem. It's everybody. The expression is everybody makes mistakes. However, when it comes to an error, we need to think about what problem there is with our understanding, and we try to correct that problem. You have 1 more minute to answer the questions. Vladimir says, always thought mistakes and errors were the same. In the context of English language teaching, they should not be the same. As I've said, an error means you don't understand it, and a mistake is just, oops, a mistake. I know the right answer, but I made a mistake. That's the difference. These are sometimes called fossilized errors and slips. A fossilized error is an error, and a slip is a mistake. Pavia says, do you think there's a mistake in the second part of question 3? What do you mean? You mean very delicious? Hey, has everyone hit that like button? Smash that like button. You know, I don't know if actually hitting that like button makes any difference on YouTube now, but, you know. Them's the breaks. I think I need to buy a laptop. I'm going on holiday for a bit, and I want to continue streaming. Maybe I need a mobile rig. I'm sure I'll have all kinds of technical problems, but I think I need it. Maybe I'll buy one on eBay so I can sell it. Does anyone want to loan me a laptop with a video card for a month? I'll pay you £50 to loan a laptop with a video card for a month. Preferably a NVIDIA RTX 2060 or better. Currently, by the way, my computer has an RTX 3070 Ti. Do we have any nerds in chat? Like me? Right. So let's go through some answers. And also, as I go through the answers, you can see on the right, I've put the class of error. And I'd like you to match the class of error with the words as well. So take a look at that. See if you can match the class of error with the words. And here I'm going to provide some corrections. So this first one, oh, how annoying. One moment. Lock. It's already locked. Oh, you can still do that when it's locked? Never noticed that before. I think really it should be green, shouldn't it? Or let's go for blue. Turn the hole might not be everyone's cup of tea, but it's uniquely British. All right, Gingy. Go on then. Trying to get to his food. People don't have respect for British food. They, and then the follow-up is, they should do. So we eliminate it. We say they should do. Oh, there's two mistakes there, isn't there? It should be I tried, and then we can say an English breakfast, or just English breakfast, or even the English breakfast. Let's say an. And very delicious. Nope. Delicious is an extreme adjective. So it must be extremely or really or absolutely delicious. It was extreme. Actually, extremely doesn't sound good. It was absolutely delicious. Did we say that? Oh, this is absolutely delicious. Yes. I think people are starting to explore English food beyond only fish and chips. We've got a little word order thing there. It's not a bad error, but it is a little unnatural. There are some dishes which are famous worldwide. People don't realise they're English. For example, no article. Chicken tikka masala, no the. Okay, and yes, Domenico. Pavia, yeah, it's because delicious is what we call an extreme adjective. So in a moment, I'm going to go into explanations about these things, Pavia. The first thing I want to do before I go into explanations is I'd like you to match the type of error with each of the errors. So number one, we have wrong form of verbs after modals. Yeah, so we have A. One is A and adverb adjective forms B. So one is A and B. That's the type of error. If you go through here and match the other types of errors, just give you about 3 or 4 minutes to take a look at that. I want you to match the type of errors. So one is A and B. I've noticed that they seem to be in order, so it's mega easy, but okay, take a look. Right. Yeah, it is mega easy. I'll just give you 1 more minute and then I'll give you the answers there. Okay, Manuel's choosing A, B for everything. No. How can 2 be A, B? There's no verb after modal mistake. All right, there's the answers. It's kind of annoying that I can't put a line break in here. Never mind. Okay, the answers are in the chat, and I'll put them here as well, I guess. Yeah, if it fits. There. Kind of. Just muted my mic in time. Okay. That's my sneeze of the day. Right then, so now I am happy to explain any of these errors. And you can ask me about any of them. So we already have Pavia's question, but Pavia has to run. So that's a shame. But okay, we've got Pavia's question about gradable and extreme adjectives. I will talk about that in a minute. Do we have any other requests for grammar areas here for me to talk about? So choose between A to I for the corrections you want to talk about. I have to squeeze my nose, Manuel, because I haven't got a tissue. And if I don't have a tissue and I sneeze, then I can get nasty stuff all over my computer, all right? So I have to do this. I should have a tissue, I know, but I haven't got one. Actually, I have got one, but never mind. So, do you want explanations of any others, requests in the chat there? Between A to I, I'll talk about any of them. There's no virus, it's an allergy. I have allergies. Is it the same if we write have no respect? Yes. But it sounds better to say don't have respect. Well, not better. It's just a bit more common. We really like to use that negation in English. So, for example, instead of I think there's no people, in English we prefer I don't think there's any people. I don't think there's any people. We like to use don't for negation in English. You can hurt your ears. No, Manuel, you can only hurt your ears if you close your nose and your mouth. Then you hurt your ears, right? All right. So, okay, I'm going to talk about Pavia's question first. So that was gradable and extreme adjectives. And our example was actually about very delicious. So in English, we have two classes of adjective. They are sometimes called gradable and non-gradable. They can also be called normal and extreme. I'm going to call them normal and extreme. However, if you read a grammar book, you may see them called gradable and non-gradable, or gradable and ungradable adjectives. And we have a lot of these. So we've got, for example, the normal adjective of cold, and the extreme adjective is don 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 don. What is it? What's the extreme adjective for cold? Well done, Julia. It's freezing. Well done, Pilly. So, normal adjective cold, extreme adjective freezing. Okay, what if we go for outstanding? That's an extreme adjective. What is the normal version of outstanding? What's the normal adjective or the gradable adjective for outstanding? That's right, Julia. Hey, she's good. Yep, it's good. All right. Let's try. What is the extreme version of hungry? I'm going to put a few, actually. We'll have hungry, tasty, thirsty, hot, happy, sad. No, let's go tired. Oh, whatever. Tired. So these are the normal adjectives. Oh, need to be careful here. All right, great. Hey, I like that. Ravenous. It's not what I was thinking of, but yeah, it's pretty good. Obviously, there's no one-to-one relationship here. There's several possibilities. So I'm going to give you the common ones. We've got starving for hungry, tasty, delicious. But we do have some other excellent examples there in the chat, such as ravenous for starving and scrumptious for delicious. Thirsty, we have parched, or what's another one for thirsty? Absolutely parched. Absolutely. I can't think of another one. Just parched. For hot, we've got boiling. Happy, we've got over the moon. or ecstatic or something like that. What's the most common way to say that? Oh, I'm absolutely thrilled. How about that? Thrilled. Sad. Devastated. What's the one for sad? What's really, really, really sad? Melancholy. I don't know if melancholy is really, really, really sad. Melancholy is kind of different. Melancholy is like uninspired, isn't it? And kind of depressed. Downhearted. Sad. Absolutely. Distraught. And tired, exhausted, or knackered. I feel like a helicopter just went over. Interesting. That doesn't happen. I wanted to look, but I'm working. So this is an example of gradable and extreme adjectives, also known as normal and extreme adjectives. So the deal with this is if you have a normal adjective or a gradable adjective, then you can put it on a scale. And if you have an extreme adjective, then you cannot put it on a scale. So a gradable adjective, we can have a lovely scale here, and our scale can go from words like, what is going on outside? Bit of excitement there. Don't worry about it. Okay, so we can put these gradable ones, normal or gradable adjectives, onto a scale. And of course, we can say stuff like a little bit, rather, quite, pretty cold. Oh, it's pretty cold. Very. Extremely, those kinds of things. This is what we call gradable, and we can do that with cold. We can put it somewhere on here. It's a little bit cold. It's quite cold. It's very cold. It's extremely cold. And there's lots of lovely adverbs. We call these adverb phrases. So a little bit, that's an adverb phrase, right? And we can use these adverbs in connection with the adjective to put them somewhere on this scale. Now, with extreme adjectives, we do not have that option. An extreme adjective is already here. It's already over here, as Pavia mentioned. So it's already up there. And if you want to add an adverb to an extreme adjective, you can, but you must use an extreme adverb, such as absolutely, incomprehensibly. What's another one for freezing? The thing is, they don't all collocate well. So sometimes they will collocate well. For example, Pure Care said drastically. Drastically is a good extreme adverb, but drastically freezing doesn't sound good. So absolutely freezing, yes. Incomprehensibly freezing, it's bitterly, no. It's unbearably, maybe. No, I don't like it. All right, so you have to be careful because you do need collocations, right? So then if we have the extreme adjective of starving, Absolutely is a good one because absolutely you can kind of use with everything. Like I'm absolutely starving. That is absolutely delicious. I am absolutely parched. With distraught, you could say overwhelmingly distraught. That's good. Utterly distraught, yes. With exhausted, we can say totally exhausted is good. So that's basically how it works. Let me change the colour of these because it's a bit confusing. Change the colour to... Yeah. Oh no, my coffee's run out. Right. So, I just drank the bottom of my coffee and it's like full of coffee beans. That's right. I'm making proper coffee now, not that instant stuff. So, that was my explanation of F. So, we'd done F. And Pavia had another question. I'll just answer that quickly. She says, in question number 4, can we use people has started to explore? Yeah, but it's have because people's plural. But otherwise, yeah. People have started to explore. I think people are starting to explore. I think people have started to explore. It does have a slightly different meaning, though, doesn't it? I think people are starting to explore English food. I think people have started to explore English food. Let me think about that a minute. Yeah, there's a bit more sense of it kind of, it's sort of starting now compared to the idea that it started and the action's in progress. Whereas right now, the starting of the action is in progress. I know it's quite a subtle difference, but there is a bit of a difference there. And I actually prefer mine. I prefer people are starting to explore. But okay. I'm sorry, Manuel. What's that? I disagree. It's called the chicken tikka masala. What do you mean? So, Anouat says, please explain 5I. Using continuous with a do you mean I using continuous with a state verb? Yeah, super easy to explain that one. Yeah, but it's a real common issue for learners of all levels. Is this using the continuous with a state verb? Can I get an I that actually looks like an I, please? There we go. And do that. Right, so basically in English, we broadly speaking have 2 classifications of main verb. These classifications are, broadly speaking, and also it's kind of an approximation, but broadly speaking, they are actions and states. So we have verbs that describe actions and verbs that describe states. For most verbs, by the way, are over here, actions. So most verbs describe actions, but some verbs describe states. So a verb that describes an action, for example, drink is an action. Also, contemplate is an action. Eat is an action. Walk is an action. Okay, so there's a few action verbs: drink, contemplate, eat, and walk. And then we have some verbs that describe states, such as understand. Commonly is a state verb. Or seem. Seem is a state verb. It seems good. It seems bad. He seems strange. And here is where it gets complicated. So we have verbs which are state verbs, like have, for have a pen. That's a state verb. However, there are uses of have which are actions, like have dinner, have a coffee, have a chat. Okay, so it gets a bit complicated because have, when it's for possession, it's a state verb. I have a pen, I don't have a pen. But then have can be an action, like I'm having dinner, I'm having a coffee. So, another example for that is be. So, be can be used to describe states, like be happy, I'm happy. Not I'm being happy now, but I'm happy now. Right. However, be can also be an action. Let me just think about that. Yeah, like be difficult, which actually means make trouble intentionally. So, for example, you're being difficult. Stop being difficult. Notice ing, being. You're being difficult. So, be difficult is actually an action, but be happy is a state. Right? Now, the thing about state verbs is 99.999999% of the time, state verbs are never used with an ing form. So even when it's happening now and you want to use present continuous, with a state verb, you shouldn't use present continuous. Right? Do you understand? Not, are you understanding? Are you understanding sounds bad. Do you understand sounds good. Right? Even though both those things happen now. Happen is state, yes. Oh, no, wait. Is it? No, it's not. No. Happen is action. What's happening now? What happens every day? You know if something's an action because it has a continuous and a simple form. What happens every day? What's happening now? Whereas states, we can only use simple form even when it's now. So, I have my dad's car on Fridays. I have my dad's car now. So for both frequent events and now, we use a simple form because it's a state verb. Have for possession. Yep, I've seen this a lot in McDonald's, says Uptown. I'm loving it. Thank you, McDonald's. Yeah, you are correct. This is why I said 99.99999% of the time, because 0.00000000001% of the time, you'll see idiots like McDonald's use I'm loving it. That's correct. Now, yeah, people use it, and people also say stuff like, you're not understanding me. You're not understanding me, right? Right, and common in Indian English, and I think also in Indian English, it is considered correct to say, it is seeming very good. It is seeming very good. In British English, we do not say that. We say, it seems very good. Do we have any more questions on action and state verbs? This also applies for present perfect simple and present perfect continuous, by the way. Pavia wants me to go back to a question. Yeah, that's right. Manuel said it himself. So Indians use these ing forms a lot for state verbs. In British English, it's wrong. What's that? 0.000000001%? No. What's your question on articles? The English breakfast is suitable. Yeah, I actually think so. Yeah, I originally I actually put the English breakfast, and then I thought it would be confusing for the class, so I took it out. But yeah, I think the English breakfast is actually okay. Yeah, but the tikka masala doesn't sound good. So I think the English breakfast I think is good because it's English, and when you say the English, you're talking about the English people. So it's our breakfast, the English breakfast. Yeah, like I like the Spanish breakfast. Have you tried the American breakfast? So it's like you're, instead of using the title of the dish, which is English breakfast, you're actually saying, oh, the English, the people, and their breakfast, the English breakfast. So yeah, it's okay, Pavia. Somehow it happened is a statement. Yeah. So we have now looked at F and I, and I think I have time for one more. So does anyone want a big explanation, a deep explanation of another one of these issues? If you do, then let's have a vote. Let's have a vote. Can we have a vote? How do I do a vote? I need to do more of these votes and stuff. I don't know if I need to do more of these votes, but they're fun. What do you want me to explain next? All right, and the answers are A, B, hang on, C, come on YouTube, D. Is that it? I can only put 4 options. That's annoying. Let me have a think. What are the most important? Oh, I'm not doing B. That's that needs about 5 hours to explain that. We can do C. Yeah, I'm not doing D either. That's another one that takes a long time. Article misuse. Oh, no. No. G and H. Right, there's your options. A, C, G, H. Misuse. Misuse means you use wrong. So miss means not good or incorrect. So misuse is use incorrectly. Yeah. Misfire is fire incorrectly. Misspeak, speak incorrectly. This is where it's good to learn these prefixes and suffixes. It can be very useful. Thank you for coming today, Sonia. Smash that like button. And invite all your family to join us next time. Next stream, by the way, will be, what do you think, tomorrow? Do you want one tomorrow? I've got summer holidays, so I'm happy to do loads of streams right now, but I don't want to do too many. Might actually negatively affect the channel. You want me to do wrong form of the main verb? I think that's kind of boring, actually, but we can do that. Word order of adverbs. Oh, God, why did I put that? No, please. I should just choose myself. Should just do A. Right, N Paul, I prefer to do G than H, so I'm gonna do G. Yeah. Let me tell you about word order of adverbs. They suck. It's really annoying. So with adverbs, it depends on the type of adverb, and then it also depends on whether it is a multi-word adverb, like end of the day, or once a week, Or if it's a single word adverb like often. So you say like, I often play football, or I play football once a week. So adverbs gets crazy complicated. We're going to talk about verb forms instead, which is kind of G, what the wrong form of the main verb. And I'll break this down kind of quickly. We're not going to go into like mega detail on this, but I can give you some general ideas about the forms of the verb to use with the main verb. Right. So what common mistakes do we have with main form of the verb? So first of all, we've got verbs after modals. What are the modals? Can, could, should, shall, would, will, may, might. I always miss one, damn it. Can, could, may, might, should, shall, would, will, must. Got it. Okay, so they're the modals. And after modal verbs, you always use what form? The infinitive. Always the infinitive. So after modals, always use the infinitive. Simple as. Always use the infinitive after modals. End of story. No problem. Nice and simple. Okay. I can speak English. Okay. Not I can speaking. Must you do that? Must you do that? Okay. So main form of the verb after modals. Infinitive. So that's nice and simple. What about verbs after auxiliaries? So what are the auxiliary verbs? They are be, do, and have. So verbs after auxiliaries, I'm sure you know. After be, you've got ing. After have, you've got the past participle. And after do, you have the infinitive. Okay, so it's a different one for all of the auxiliaries. That is only when these verbs are auxiliaries. Obviously, have can be a main verb or an auxiliary. Be can be a main verb or an auxiliary. And do can be a main verb or an auxiliary. So the auxiliary verbs all have identical forms, which are main verbs. So that makes it nice and fancy. Okay, so verbs after auxiliaries have those forms. Nice and simple there. What about verbs after adjectives? Should we do that? No, let's do verbs as nouns. Often it's the subject, sometimes object. Okay, so verbs as nouns. Verbs as nouns. What's the form of a verb as a noun in English? It's ing. Always, always, always. So if you use the verb as a subject, then you should use it in the ing form. For example, eating meat is good for testosterone levels. That's a bit of a fancy sentence, isn't it? What am I talking about? Let's try something else. Exercising every day is good for you. Okay, there you go. Or let's just say exercising is good for you. So you can see there I'm using the verb as a noun. I'm using it as the subject. And in English, we always put that in ing. Okay, here's another one I really like, which is verbs after prepositions except to. Because to is also a preposition, but it's fancy and weird, and we're going to ignore it. So verbs after prepositions, what form of the verb after a preposition? It's always ing. Always, always, always. The verb after a preposition is ing. What's an example here? We could say... Give me an example. All right, Riadol, lovely to have you today. We are wrapping up anyway. An example is with, running with, put it with. don't know. I think I am running out of energy, everybody. I need to eat something. Okay, here we go. Let's say take up. So we take up. The preposition is up. Take up is a phrasal verb which means to start. So I want to take up jogging, exercising, eating less eating fish more. So there you see the ing after the preposition with take up. Another example, we could say after, which, by the way, is kind of an adverb, but we could pretend it's a preposition. It is a prepositional word form, but I think arguably in this case it's an adverb. But all right, we can say after exercising, comma, I like to... let's say I like to... after exercising, I often talk with my mother. Okay, right. So that's a bit of that. There's some other things we could say as well. I also want to do this before we finish. Verbs after adjectives. This is an interesting one. So verbs after adjectives, it's normally the to infinitive. For example, it's good. Good is an adjective. To phone your sister. Often. Okay, so it's good to phone your sister often. We got to plus the infinitive after an adverb. An adjective. God, I am getting tired. And then there are, after some verbs, use to infinitive. And after some verbs, use ing. And that's where it gets complicated. You just need to learn the phrase and the form from that phrase. So common verbs with to infinitive are want, need, like, have to, things like that. Common verbs with ing, interestingly enough, like also appears here. You can use ing after like as well. And now I'm really going blank. Let's use some of those. I hate doing it. I like doing it. I remember doing it. No. Okay, I've run out of steam. All right, everybody, thank you very much. So I hope that's helpful. Verb forms are not as complicated as you think. You can learn these rules, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rules, and then the other verbs, you just learn them as phrases. Enjoy, yes. Well, enjoy is basically the same as like, but okay. And there are some really complicated ones which actually change meaning, like try and start. And remember, these verbs, you can use both forms, and the meaning of the verb changes depending on the form you use. Yeah, so remember to call your mother means, hey, you have to call your mother later. Remember? Remember to call your mother. But remember, calling your mother means, do you have the memory of calling your mother in the past? Right, so remember the meaning changes with the two different forms. All right, everybody, thank you very much for joining me today. Is this right? Yes, that is right. But just give me 1 second because I want to update the notes for today because we have made quite a lot of extra notes. And I think it would be nice to have those in the PDF that you can download. And you can, of course, download that PDF right now because I've already updated it. So download the notes from today. They are free. I hope they are useful for you. And join our community, English Learners Chat, bit.ly English Learners Chat. Got a lovely community on Skype. where people can ask and answer questions about English. And finally, conversation classes. 22nd July, 3 p.m. UK. It will be free, possibly the last free session. And we've been getting quite good numbers, but I do need a few more to say, can we continue? And that's not because of the economics. It's because last time I ran Conversation Club, the numbers went and it didn't work. So I think we need kind of 6 regulars, and it would be nice if we maximum sort of 10, 12. So we'll see how it goes with that. Would love to see you. We're having great fun with it. And it's kind of, I do it now as like a follow-on to the stream. So we will have a stream on Saturday and we'll talk about something. And then the conversation class will be a follow-on from that. Thank you, Domenico. Nice to see you. Thank you, Anawat. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Manito, Carmen. And thank you very much, everybody, for coming today. Have a lovely day. And hey, I might see you tomorrow. Look out for, I haven't decided when I'm going to stream yet, but probably tomorrow. I'm on holiday, kind of, so might as well just stream loads. Great. All right, everybody. Have a lovely day. See you soon. Bye-bye now. What music are we going to go for? I don't know. Let's go for this one. Probably shouldn't say Oxford Online English on that.